that you're not with him. If you're down to slide, kick it for the night, and you don't have to go.
Welcome to another episode of Harbor City Local TV in association with Space Coast Podcast. We're having a fun day today, getting ready for Punk in the Park over in the Eau Gallie Arts District. We have some sponsors and performers in the studio. Heather Clark with Sleeping Sirens.
Woo! Hey guys. I'm stoked to be a part of everything.
Austin Young with Pineapples EGAD.
What's up?
You also just heard his track Weekend from his band Gary Lazer Eyes. And we'll talk about that a little more coming up. And then Tony Solon.
Howdy.
With the Easy Uzis. Going to be playing the stage on Saturday right before TSOL. He is also a big part of what we're doing with Punk in the Park as a sponsor with Standard Collective and the 518 Skate Shop. So I guess let's jump into that there, Tony. Let's get into a little bit about what you're doing. How did you and Rob come up with the idea of the skate shop, coming from where you were at before?
Well, as you know, it was our music venue, mm-hmm. and then COVID happened, and Rob and I decided to join forces, and we talked about doing a small little speakeasy style bar, but we all know there's a few of those down there already. So we changed directions, and both of us love music and skateboarding. It's what we grew up doing. So we decided to open a skate shop and carry some vinyl records as well. Yeah,
and you have a definite. I just bought some Operation Ivy discs out there. Right. It's a great little shop of records, and so even though it's a skate shop, there's a ton going on in there. Now, how did you feel changing from the venue to the skate shop? Was that something hard to give up, or moving into this new venture, was it more exciting?
Well, it's bittersweet for sure. I think a lot of the local bands loved playing the venue. The sound in there was great.
We did.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a really good time. So definitely bittersweet, but it was time. There's a couple of really great venues like Pineapples and some other ones that are popping up around town. So it was a good time for Rob and I to change directions and open a skate shop and show our love for what we grew up doing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, COVID taught a lot of people a lot of things,
sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you said that your history with music and skateboarding. What is your history with the skateboarding and how that brought that to 518 or the music? Whatever sure. Your contribution.
Well, I grew up surfing and skateboarding in Satellite Beach, and ever since I can remember, like the first 411 skate video had Operation Ivy in it and hip hop, and my love of music and skateboarding comes from that. I never looked back. It was just something I was passionate about. Fast forward a couple of years, I worked at a place called the Groove Tube.
Yeah.
Dave Setgast owns and taught me very well. Had tons of great local bands playing there. Working there, I was fortunate to meet the guys from Hurley, and they sponsored me as a little guy, shop guy, and opened a lot of doors for me, which in turn allowed me to meet a lot of skaters and surfers and really dive into that culture.
Now, speaking of the Groove Tube, what were some of the major bands that ended up playing around that area?
Well, Sublime was probably the biggest that played on the front porch.
Yeah. I know that video keeps, every once in a while I see it come through on...
Yeah, please don't watch that video.
I love it. I mean, it really makes the connection on where we're at now a lot,
It's just, I look like Austin, that hairpiece.
Nah, you rocked it way better.
You look way better.
Nice. Yeah, actually, that's where I got some of my first 7-inch records, was at the Groove Tube. Yeah,
Dave and Diane were ahead of their times for sure on that. And, they were the first ones to carry punk rock CDs in the area.
Definitely.
And then the vinyl, and they kind of dove into like the house music and all that kind of stuff. But and then the fashion aspect is really what drove me to do what I do now.
So that's where you learned that, huh? And brought you to where you're at now?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, because you're, how long you've been in EGAD now? With Standard Collective?
Almost 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, and when did 7 years ago, it's not what it was now.
Oh, no. There's tumbleweeds down there.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Intracoastal, which, obviously they're a staple, and Anaya Coffee pretty much were the two major places down there. And then we came in, and Rob and Becca opened up Traditionals and Salty Fox, and the rest is history.
Yeah, we had Wes and Lisa on before their 20th anniversary party, and they used to talk about, they actually had to kick out some people from living under their house, under their shop, and how seedy it was a little bit back there.
Sure.
Did you have to deal with any of that moving in?
No, not really. It's getting seedier now. Sure.
It's getting seedier now.
Now that we're there.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, it's definitely developing. Yeah, it's a weird transition right now because we're seeing, there's a lot of people seeing it as a diminishing art district with things like the Fusner changing, but in some of our eyes, with Traditionals and you and 518 and what we're doing here with Punk in the Park, Pineapples opening, I mean, there's a lot more musicians in the area. Sure. If we do this right, it's actually a rebirth. It's a renaissance of it.
It's like a changing of the guard. No disrespect to all the artists and the older folk that are down there, but there's some new emerging artists, and so the times are changing, and it's time for the new artists to kind of be able to come out and represent what they do, whether it's taxidermy or, spray paint or pastels. It's more youthful, if you will. Definitely.
Yeah. And with that, with the economic change that's happening in Brevard County, specifically Melbourne, how do you feel about these types of changes? How do you feel about these people that aren't exactly a part of our community, but are now becoming a part of our culture?
That's a tough thing, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, when money comes in, it changes everything. Hopefully, they're true to their mission and what they're trying to accomplish down there with the hotel going in, and what they're doing. I believe what they say, and staying true to the arts and making an artsy, boutique-y hotel. And we hope that brings transient traffic down here that spends money and supports the lifestyle that we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and I feel that a lot of that's up to us to hold them responsible.
Sure.
Like, of course, money's going to talk to them.
Of course.
And the culture is what speaks to us.
But as long as we keep doing what we're doing, we'll be fine.
Yeah. And what you're doing is pretty amazing down there for a long time now. Now you, with the shop, with Standard Collective, like you said, you've been there 7 years?
Almost 7 years.
Almost 7 years. And you've been down there with your better half, right?
Oh, yeah. Elena Roby. She's the best.
She's amazing. I love her.
Yeah.
She's the sweetest.
She is, yeah. I couldn't do it without her. I mean, I opened the shop in 2010, but she's been there since day one, and it wouldn't be what it is without her, for sure.
Oh, you can definitely see her influence in there.
100%, yeah.
I don't know that you're picking out all those dresses. And
no.
She makes me look like a goddess every time I go in there.
She's a great stylist, merchandiser, and awesome too. Yeah.
Excellent. So, and Standard Collective is a, you can go in there and shop, and you can go in there and pick what they have on the shelf, but they also are, what's the word I'm looking for? Specialty. Like you come in there with an idea, or they can help make it happen. Tony's also a great
leathersmith. Yeah.
Leathersmith. I wasn't sure if that was the word.
Leatherman. Sure.
Leatherman. Yeah.
Leatherman.
And you can see a lot of different wallets and purses, or again, if you have an idea, bring it into Tony. He's a very creative character.
Thank you.
Now, from Standard Collective, we talked about 518 a bit. The music inspiration in 518, is that Rob? Is that you? Is that both of you? Like the records coming in?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously with his extensive background in hardcore and punk rock, he does most of that buying, and he's a huge record collector. I mean, I learn from him every day on the different, the different genres of punk rock, if you will. But I have maybe a little bit more of extensive hip hop and indie rock background, so I bring that stuff to the table.
We're bringing that to the music festival this year.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we talked with Kristen Warren and the Brevard Cultural Alliance, and we're looking to bring some more jazz and hip hop to the Space Coast Music Festival this year. Yeah, definitely. Getting more diverse. Very cool. Now, how long has these Uzis been a band?
Man, I guess we've been a band for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we have one single out.
Yeah. Really. You've heard it on previous episodes. Maybe we'll get to it again. Now, who's in the band with you?
Dallas James, Mike De La Chapa, Joey Noble and Antoine Rose.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to dictate these names out because these are hard hitters in the area. Dallas James used to run a lot of the open mics in the area, specifically at Standard Collective when it was a venue, and along with David Sekist. And then Mike Della Chapa with Apocalypse Coffee, when it used to be open mics, was a big part of our music community and still is with Easy Uzis.
Yeah.
Now, how's everyone feeling about this show coming up?
We're excited. Yeah, we haven't played a show in a couple months. So obviously opening for legends like TSOL, everyone's pretty ecstatic about it for sure. Yeah,
I've been seeing a lot of buzz. Actually, that you've been a lot of the comments on the social media and some of the sponsors that are, sponsoring. They're saying, "I can't wait to go see the Easy Uzis."
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
I should probably read that stuff.
Well, I wanted to bring it up because when you're running your own stuff, you don't get to see those types of things
for sure.
But yeah, Easy Uzis are a big part of why people are coming to the show.
Oh, well, thanks.
Now, how long have you been doing music?
Oh, as far as I can remember, I played in bands over the years, growing up in the area, but nothing quite like this. Like you said, the level of talent of all those guys is amazing. So for me to jump in front of the mic and have those guys, play with me, it's absolutely amazing, inspiring for sure. Definitely.
And even though our bands sound very much different, and I feel like we're in a very similar situation to where with 60 Foot Giant, I work with a ton of great musicians, which allow me to just be nonsense on the vocals.
Absolutely.
And it's and it makes for a little eclectic situation. Everyone's bringing something different. And when I talk to people in your band, it seems like everyone has a little bit. While there's things that bring you together, Black Sabbath is what brings us together.
Okay,
what brings you guys together on the same page? Because I know you come from that punk rock, hip hop, even up to the indie. You're a very eclectic character, but
I would say just the love of music, because everyone definitely comes from a different background of music. Honestly, don't know where Joey gets his love of music from. He's just the most talented, amazing drummer. He really holds it together. But Mike, as an elder statesman, if you will, he comes from, he loves all kinds of music, and Dallas and Antoine, I think their love of classic rock and metal kind of brings something special to it. And so, together we just, create the sound. I don't know really how to even put a label on it.
I'm with you. And you can definitely feel that classic rock feel from the guitars.
For sure.
But what you bring to it and punks it up.
Oh.
And it brings it to that 70s level. So on the show coming up, you guys, and to me, the Speed Spirits, I don't know if you ever listened to the Speed Spirits, but cool. You guys have that 70s,
some kind of inspiration
background to it, in a new direction. Speed Spirits are some young characters, but excellent. So with you are a big part of what is EGAD. Do you get to communicate with, we've had a new EGAD director come in. Steve Gould's a big part of that direction and is on the board. Do you get to communicate with those type of entities on what you'd like to see in the future there?
I do, and I have. I try to keep my opinion out of most everything, and just like I said earlier, kind of stick to what we do well and let everybody else, do what they do well, and it all just kind of works out, man. I try not to compare us to anybody else, or try not to compete with anybody, or give my opinion too much. Like I said, we're really proud of what we do at Standard Collective and who we are. If hopefully that translates.
It does. You're a humble character.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
And so with we all traveled a bit, and as Melbourne grows, and is there anything that you're looking forward to saying, what, our arts district needs this or could use this, or, what do you think EGAD is missing?
Oh, well.
It could be a cupcake shop. I'm not trying to put you too much on the spot.
I got you. We have all the right ingredients for sure. Obviously, parking's a big issue when it comes to the area, but that's I think we definitely need more of the young artists to come out and represent. The mural thing we did a couple of years ago was fantastic, but we need more of that. Less red tape,
He meant to say an Oddity shop.
Nice.
Well, I was getting to that. But, that was the lead into your segment. We definitely need an Oddity shop.
Nice.
But yeah, no, more eclectic boutique type things.
Yeah.
Another great clothing shop would be fantastic. Like good competition helps everybody elevate their game a little bit. But I don't think we need anything specific. We need more cool, like-minded individuals to come.
And you're right about the competition situation. I was Meg O'Malley's kitchen manager for a really long time, and this was before tracks. This was before a lot of things down there. And as these things moved in, servers would get scared, and all these things would get scared about
other restaurants
taking business away, and it doesn't. It just brings people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is getting,
economics, y'all.
Straight economics. But again, it's you want good, like-minded humans coming down there and supporting the area. No disrespect to downtown Melbourne at all, but it gets a little rowdy, and there is a point where you want to keep the arts district.
Arty,
yeah. Yeah, and bars and restaurants are fantastic.
Yeah.
But there doesn't need to be one in every corner. We love the music and the art and the culture, and we want everybody to enjoy it.
Yeah, and you have another neighbor that kind of works in that vein with Causeway Records.
Yeah,
they do some live stuff over there. Have you gotten to know those guys a little bit?
Yeah, they're fantastic. He's amazing vinyl, and he does great video work. He's also trying to teach the kids a little bit about video and audio, and I think it's perfect for the area. Yeah,
I was actually in there the other day, and I guess that's his job is video. And that's I didn't know that. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. What do you? So a lot of the graphics you're going to see, a lot of you're going to see on Saturday. Tony's actually created. Tony's been a lot of the creative management of Punk in the Park. We have a T-shirt coming from Convicted Printing. We have out of Tampa, and look up Convicted Printing. They're actually doing some cool things. A lot of what they do as a nonprofit is they print, and then they're helping with bring awareness to human trafficking and things like that. But the shirts that they're bringing with them that they printed for us, there's 100. That's it. So if you're looking for an official Punk in the Park T-shirt with all the artwork done by Tony at Standard Collective, make sure you get to the Harbor City Local 10 early. The banners, you've seen the billboards from Carol, all that artwork is Tony. So again, if you're looking for something, if you need a T-shirt, if you need something, go see Tony at Standard. And high fives and hugs to Elena too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
Appreciate it.
Any comments?
No, I think we pretty much summed it up there, Steve.
And I try to be a little thorough.
That was nice.
Yeah, excellent.
Appreciate you.
Excellent. And we will make that oddity segue to Heather Clark. How you doing, Heather?
Good.
Excellent. Heather's a big sponsor of Saturday's event with Sleeping Sirens. You're gonna have a tent. Tell us about the tent you're setting up.
Yeah, so I have a lot of events. We do a lot of expos, and I've got 2 coming up that we're getting ready for. It is difficult for me to have our inventory outdoors. So instead of having a full booth setup at Punk in the Park, what I would like to offer to everyone is kind of a place to chill, a hydration station, I've been calling it. I'm going to have some water, some lemonade. I'm bringing a tent with walls, and I'm going to test out today and see if my portable AC will actually cool it off a little bit. I'm going to have some promo material out for Sleeping Sirens, of course. But it's just going to kind of... It's a little different. I've never really been to too many events that have, something like that for everybody to come and hang out and chill at. But some of my items in particular will explode if they sit in the sun for too long. So that's not always great for me. So that's why we decided to go this route.
Excellent. And like Heather said, she does, travel and does this a lot around the country. And you're a national celebrity, right? You've been on a lot of media.
A little bit of media here and there. Nothing crazy. I love all of the travel that we get to do. People are very interested at each expo, each like local news station or paper or podcast will come by and check up on the event because, I mean, what even is it? You know, it's an Oddities and Curiosities Expo, and some people are expecting antique furniture with their grandma that day, and others are...
I just had an Ed Gein like thing, antique furniture with my grandma. Like, whoo, man, I'm sorry.
Shopping with grandma at Taxidermy and Oddities Expo can be interesting. But no, it's a lot of alternative lifestyle. Tattoo shop owners love to decorate with a lot of the items that we have there. House and home decor. Amazing artists. I'm in awe every expo of the artists that I get to travel with. It's amazing. We have one coming up in Tampa in November. I know that's not quick, a quick coming up, but I would love to see some local faces over there. If you can, it's totally worth checking that expo out. I love teaching that class, the taxidermy class.
Well, and that's kind of where I wanted to go next. You're not just, creating art and selling taxidermy, but you're an educator.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what you do in those courses.
So for the taxidermy classes, for the expo, each year we have a different subject. Last year was jackalopes. This year is two-headed ducklings. It's all gaff taxidermy. It is a single-day class. I do a lot of the prep work for students. I can have anywhere from 12 to 50 students from all walks of life, all ages. It's really cool. I love teaching this class. It's an absolute blast. I'm excited for next year already. We get to go see. We do 26 cities a year. I just added 2 more as we travel. I add pop-ups and shops and stuff like that. 7, 28. We'll be at 28. I think by the end of the year I will have hit 30 cities. And wow, it's so cool just seeing how many people are interested in this. Like 50 faces looking at you sometimes, just really interested in this that, over the years been ostracized for and is strange and different and unusual. It's so cool. It's such a great feeling. And then we travel with our stuff too, right. our inventory, and Nicole Skinner runs that side of things for me as well. So she gets to travel around with me and see some amazing things on the road.
Now, at those types of courses, is it because you said there's been people that are kind of been in this community for a while? The people that are interested in learning how to do this, are they more the young community, or is it people that have been around for a while? Like, what is your novice to professional that comes and sees you?
So I do have a lot of novice students. I have a lot of younger students that are interested, and I would say, without pulling hard numbers, just kind of a guess on my part, I'd say between 80 to 85% of my classes are females that are probably between 30 to 40 years old. It's so cool. It does say a little bit about the industry. With it can be similar to the tattoo industry in an apprentice type of way, but this is very different from that in the sense that a lot of instructors are big game trophy taxidermists that take on apprentices, and they're generally all male dominated. It's a very male dominated industry, so it's nice to see this new blood come in a little bit to kind of circle back to new artists and new things.
Do you see a dramatic difference in the like you said, that's a sportsman, male driven community? Do you see a difference between the ones that are interested in the sports side of it and the art side of it?
Absolutely. A huge difference, a noticeable difference. that's an easy one to call. Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to call.
Yeah. Now I bring up a lot of this information because again, this booth is going to be a comfort station, but it's also an information station. So, if you have those questions, you're not talking to someone that is just having some fun here. This is a professional that you can come and actually get some quality information from if you're interested in that type of oddity art or being a part of that community and just felt like you didn't have a spot. Punk in the Park is for you.
Yeah.
And come say hi. Now, Heather, you're not, this is something that you've been doing for a long time now, and you've done a lot of pop-ups, but you also used to manage a pretty busy venue in the area.
I did. And then following leaving there as well for a couple of years. As I was starting Sleeping Sirens, I was still bartending, booking, promoting shows. All 2008, 2009 was when all of that really started.
Yeah. What was the venue?
321 Local. So, there's a lot of memories there. A couple of years worth of memories at 321. Yeah. Yeah,
we played there. Saw Agnostic Front there. I believe Madball played there. I mean, it was a big part of the punk community. Before the resurgence of the punk community. So yeah, excellent. Is there anything noteworthy
from 321? I think some of my favorite things that we did at 321 were the art shows. My favorite bands to book were actually all of the local bands and the local shows. You could really feel the love at those. There were big, noteworthy names and stuff that came in, but still, those local bands and some of them, like yourself, are still going super strong, and that's amazing to see. The art community, I mean, they're still going strong too, some of these artists, and it's amazing to see that growth that has happened as well. I do think some of my favorite shows were also like Everyman and Viva La Vox and all of
their
those.
parties.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were fun to dance.
Yeah.
Too, but those were some of my favorite memories from then.
Excellent. And so that whole feel of what was 321 and Standard Collective, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking to build with this Eau Gallie Arts District in our minds. So we'll see you on Saturday and help be a part of that. And we want to also promote the positivity of the event and, let you know that, this is going to be a family affair. Come out and have some fun. Food trucks, all these different opportunities to see some music maybe you had kind of thought was in a certain direction, and you can come out and meet the individuals and learn that we're all part of the community. Yeah. Now, before we got started, you had mentioned PBS.
Well, traveling with the expo affords me a lot of really cool opportunities. So PBS came to do a wildlife segment and was very interested in, I guess, the dark side of things. So we did a short segment for PBS. A lot of local magazines. We were just on a local news station in Milwaukee. Newspapers and magazines everywhere, and the Discovery Channel has come to film, and I guess that's all. I guess that's all.
I'm just enjoying the PBS aspect.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know how that was received. Because it was wildlife segment, and
maybe they thought they were talking to one of those sportsman types.
I think maybe that's what they were expecting. Yeah. People are taken aback by the show all the time. Lots of occult stuff. So when you do show up with PBS or Grandma or whatever, they're like, "What? What's going on here?" So. I like the shock value of it. I like that. I find it hilarious.
Nice.
I think it's super funny.
Where's that show in November?
November, the Tampa Convention Center, I believe. I believe it is just the Tampa Convention Center over there. I'd have to double check. I usually only get a few months in advance planned out. But yeah, it's $10 in advance, $15 day of show, which is a very small price to pay to go check out something very interesting and unique. There's shows all day. There's class. There's a Museum of Mutations.
Wow.
And this all, it really all stems from the Barnum and Bailey Circus. 5 cents to see behind the curtain, the elusive Fiji mermaid. That's where Gaff Taxidermy comes from. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gaff Taxidermy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then another sponsor going to be there Saturday is Austin Young with Pineapples.
Hey.
Yeah, you just had your 1 year anniversary, right?
Yeah, in April. It's crazy, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people are having anniversaries right now. I guess that's the time to open an EGAD.
Yeah.
Is the spring. Yeah. Awesome. How'd the 1 year anniversary go?
It was good, man. I wanted to do something huge, but I had to reel my expectations down and try to, not go too hard for the first year. I've learned how to jump through a lot of hoops, which I'm sure you're familiar with setting up your events. So, next year I know what I have to do, and if we decide to make it a yearly thing, then we can do it bigger and better. But I was really happy with the turnout and the awesome vendors that we got to post up in our parking lot. So I'm wearing one of them right now, Resident Skate Shop. It was a really good day. It was cool to see the support.
Yeah, excellent. Now, Pineapples it's a pretty interesting place. It's huge, but it seems like each floor has a little different flavor to it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, in the beginning, to start, it was my initial vision when me and my dad were talking about this. It was not supposed to be as large as it is, and I'm happy with what we ended up with. But so it ended up snowballing, and we decided, obviously, if we're going to be a restaurant, that's going to be probably our main income, so we had to have a designated place for that, and that was going to be the first floor. And then initially we had 2 different menus. The top 2 floors were more casual menu. Now it's simple, it's all one menu, but there is still a distinction between each floor. I haven't really pushed the branding as much with the 3rd floor, but initially that was supposed to be more of like a cocktail chill area, but everyone wants to dine up there. That's where everyone wants to eat their food. So
makes sense.
Yeah. So really, it's definitely a different vibe from the 1st floor to the 3rd. But the one that really stands out the most is the 2nd floor, the Moon Room, and that's where we push it to really be a different space dedicated to arts and music. To kind of tie us into the area a little bit more.
Now you do a ton of music there, but you also have it's every Thursday you have a special art day, is that right?
Yeah, it's my friends, they started it somewhere else, and when they brought it to me, I was like, that sounds awesome. They call it Vibe Tribe Thursday, and it's, just invite your creative friends out, and you can jump on stage and collab with the DJ or whatever. Sometimes we do things like that. We'll have featured guest musicians, but the gist of it is live music and live painting. So we'll have a couple people out there creating art right there on the 2nd floor, and then we'll also invite special guests to display their art, and you can buy prints, support them, whatever, or just come hang out. So.
Now, this week, there is no Vibe Tribe Thursday. Why is that?
I don't know. I think it was like a scheduling thing with what the guys were doing, but
I thought it was because it's the official after party.
Well, it is. It is. Well, I had already scheduled Evan, who is the DJ for it, and maybe that's why he wanted to focus all his attention on that, because I know he just hit me up. It was like, hey, we're not going to do it Thursday. We're just going to now do it Saturday. I'm going to invite the guys out to come paint. And I was like, that's awesome. It's probably the best time to do it because of what's going on. I don't even know if he knew at the time, because a few weeks ago I was like, this is going to be, the after party for this awesome event going on in the park. So, yeah, if you guys are in the park and you're looking for something to do after it's over, come over to Pineapples in the Moon Room. We'll have live painting and music. And I told him, I was like, hey man, if we get a bunch of punks over here, you can't be playing like house stuff. So he's gonna he's pretty good about reading the room. I think he's gonna be playing we were talking about just doing like a indie kind of new wave mix, or just like 90s and 2000s alternative, whatever. Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Now I heard at the infancy of what you did, a lot of it was kind of thinking about the old school Dr. Joe's type idea. Is that true?
Yeah, well, I was just looking for a space. I had moved home from Orlando, and my pops was in a position where he was looking for a new project. You know, he had sold his business. He was on contract, but he's like, I want something to do. I want to do something. What are you thinking about doing, you know? And I'm like, I'm good where I'm at, but I have been dreaming and looking at places for lease in the art district. And, you know, the initial idea was something small, just a space to dedicate to arts and music and, you know, maybe eventually serve food, whatever. And then he was like, you know, I really loved going to Dr. Joe's. I was too young. I never got to go, but my pops was like, I love that spot. And I heard it's for sale.
Nice.
And it didn't work out, but, you know, with its construction connects, he's like, why not buy this lot that the hotel or the condo was selling? They were trying to sell to another developer to build a condo or hotel, which could have been terrible or could have been cool. I don't know how it would have gone, but my dad scooped it up before they got that opportunity. And then he's like, we're gonna build our own Dr. Joe's. And I think we're a lot different, and we've deviated from that.
Oh, I worked at Dr. Joe's.
Oh, so you know.
You're
then.
1,000% different.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
no, I want to be our own thing.
100%, yeah. I was only there when I moved here in 2002. I was there for a few months before they closed, but like All American Rejects played there, and all these different bands came through, and it was that cool kind of spot. So bringing that idea to what you're doing has been pretty interesting to watch, because the Moon Room it's becoming a pretty special spot in the area, especially for EGAD. Now you have a summer concert series coming up there, right?
Yeah, and that was a goal I had when we first opened the place. And you know, it's not that huge of a deal or whatever, like the bundle deal that you can get. You know, we're just I want to kind of establish a way that we can sell tickets directly from the venue instead of having to use a third party like Eventbrite, which does make it easier for DIY people to put on events. But, you know, there's all those fees and everything. So the summer concert series is kind of like our trial run of come here, buy tickets from us, and also here's some awesome highlighted events that you can buy in a bundle and get a free koozie and dodge the fees, you know. So that's the whole idea. And like our 1 year anniversary, this is kind of me trying something out and deciding if we want to go bigger and better next year, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you're in business. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
You know, start somewhere and see where it can go.
Trial and
error. Now, who do you have playing throughout the summer?
Actually, coming up real quick, after a week after Punk in the Park is the Supervillains. That's on June 18th. And then July 3rd is the Firewater Tent Revival from Jacksonville. They're psychedelic bluegrass with locals. Yeah, they're awesome. With locals, Lights Out Project, led by Jason Noon. And then my band with another band to be announced will be playing August 20th, my band, Gary Lazer Eyes. And then in, what's the next month? September is the Reese Rise. I don't know how to say their name. Is it Reese Brothers? They're really awesome. I've seen them live a couple times. They're out of like St. Pete. Yeah. They're playing with Honeyhounds, my buddies from Jacksonville, who are crushing it right now, which is like some awesome blues rock.
Yeah, Honeyhounds are great. I've seen Firewater Tent Revival. They're like the Everyman. They're just a party band. They're just and it's funny because you can go and see them, and if you're not, I'm gonna bring it back to the punk. Like they do a bunch of punk songs and you don't know it, but they do No Effects. They do a bunch of punk songs in a bluegrass style. Who do you have opening for Firewater?
I don't really know. It's kind of a co-headline thing. They partnered up with the Lights Out Project.
Lights Out.
I don't know who's playing or who's going to be the headline. I'm letting them promote it how they want, but. Yeah, and it is interesting you say that because they do have this punk aesthetic, and they play at all these like hippie festivals that also have like they'll go back to back with like a DJ. You know what I mean? Like, and they're a party band. You hear bluegrass and you don't think of that. You know?
They're a party band.
Yeah, I went to bluegrass festivals with my grandparents when I was a kid, and like it was a very different vibe. But I love the sound. So for them to bring it into I don't know, something that's good for the bar atmosphere, for the party atmosphere. Like, I mean, they're welcome back anytime. They're really
awesome.
Cool.
Now, I did spend a lot of time in the restaurant industry, and you are doing a few things at the same time. You are running a restaurant, but you have this really rad venue on the second floor. How do you promote those? Because they have to be promoted differently.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I mean, we've partnered up with some good people, so I have good content to work with as far as the food and the service goes. Like, I'm always impressed with the things that we cook up. I have a little bit of say in it, but I'm not like the food expert, you know what I mean? I've considered starting like a separate social media for the band and art stuff, for the Moon Room, basically, because it does get to the point where that's what I'm sharing the most, and that's not always the target audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, there's a big overlap, and obviously I don't want to complicate things in the very beginning, but yeah, it's been something I've been toying with, is almost really establishing the Moon Room as a separate entity within Pineapples, so that people who, you know, they're just casual diners that stop by and maybe they'll catch a band, they can follow Pineapples, and then people who are like, I'm coming for the shows, they can follow the Moon Room. Right now, that's not a thing yet, but I'll be sure to put it on blast on the Pineapples social media if I do, you know, kind of separate the two. Which, yeah, it is a good point. It has been difficult.
Well, you've been in business for a year, and you've been blowing it up for a year. In all honesty, I mean, how receptive has do you feel that you get, because to me you have a beach vibe there, you know, especially within the restaurant area. Do you feel that you get an all Brevard feel? Do you draw people from beachside? Because people that live here, there's a dramatic difference there. There really is.
There's a huge difference in the types of people that live here, and that's the thing, is like there's a huge overlap. We have a huge eclectic crowd, and depending on the night, you know, once dinner's over and it's more of the nightlife crowd only, it narrows down quite a bit. So it's like, this crowd is here at this time, this crowd's here at this time. But like I said, there's gonna always be that overlap, and you know, we don't want to like pander or cater to one crowd too much. But the vision for the Moon Room is definitely, I guess, different than what we would like. The restaurant needs to be all welcoming, you know what I mean? And yeah, you're right, all Brevard. Like, I mean, I come from a background of like, you know, hanging out at the beach, boating, things like that, but then also, you know, small dive bars, like, and, you know, rock music. Like, I don't know, sometimes there is overlap with those crowds, sometimes they don't. They don't, you know, and they don't want to hang out. So I don't know. It's a fine line to walk, I guess.
Yeah, and you get both of those bars beachside too.
Yeah, of course. It's the beauty of Brevard County.
Yeah, I've actually been asked to leave some bars beachside, dive bars, not like dive bars. I went in there and said, "What kind of beer do you have?" And they told me, if you have to ask that, then you're in the wrong bar. And I'm thinking, I'm beachside, right?
Wow.
But yeah, but now you made a comment on, you know, starting at a level that where you need to be rather than just getting giant right off the bat. Where do you see the Moon Room in like a year or 5 years?
I mean, the thing is, it's like the room is only so big.
Yeah.
So I can get acts up to a certain level. I have goals, like for bands that I'd like to play in that room. And if I can't get that one, then like, you know, there's somebody that's of equal value to me personally. But yeah, there's a certain level of bands where they're that are the goal, where I know they're not too big to play in a more intimate venue. But we can't accommodate them because we've done it right, you know, but the space is only so large. Yeah. So I just want to get to the point where that window of bands know that this is the spot to play. And there are other options that are great, but I want to...
So it's not about the amount of people in the room, it's about the event that you're putting on, basically, in that intimacy type situation. I think about when the Slackers played at Standard Collective. Slackers will, you know, bring thousands of people,
right?
But Standard Collective can only fit, you know,
150 maybe,
right? Yeah, maybe.
We
didn't say that.
I mean,
there was not 150 people. Yeah,
that never happened.
Wait, I was there.
But I think you're right there with that idea of, even if there's a band in the area, creating an intimate situation with, personnel in that band is a great idea. Now, do you plan on doing music, or do you do music anywhere else in the restaurant, like upstairs or anything?
Yeah,
like that?
I mean, like on special occasions, like on Valentine's Day and just other random days, we've tried it out on the first floor, because I feel like that's the place that actually needs the draw. People really only eat there if they're like looking for that intimate space, you know what I mean, or the weather is not, good. Everyone wants to go up on the roof, so we'll throw up mostly what we do outside of the second floor is acoustic acts up on the third floor. So
yeah,
but we've had like sax players on the first for, like I said, special occasions.
Yeah, very cool. And now we talked to Tony a bit about where EGAD has been and where it's going. And how do you see your contribution to the future of EGAD as a whole, or how do you feel about the direction that EGAD is going?
I see the direction. I see the right players, and there's many sitting right here that can push it in the right direction. And I've always felt like I'm in a position where I can influence, hopefully, I can influence the direction, the growth, and encourage others to want the same. And so my goal is to try to steer that in the right direction. And I see people that have been doing it that I look up to, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. I don't want outside money coming in here and influencing it the wrong way. Like, obviously, economic development is awesome and it's inevitable, but staying true to, the culture and not deviating from the plan is ideal. And I think, like, within Pineapples, we want to stay true to that, and that's my vision for our venue. Then outside of that, just personally, I'd love to, I'd love being involved in things like this and helping out where I can, just as myself.
Well, you hit the word, and because around the town, and I participate in a lot of city stuff with Harbor City Local, but you hear people speak up and complain, but it's a level of involvement is really all it is. So if you have a direction, if you want to participate, you have to be involved. Otherwise, you're locked out of any sort of way that it's going to go, and then can't really complain later on when you didn't participate. Now, also being connected with a city like that, Melbourne, Palm Bay, because they link us together, are on a lot of lists. We're on a lot of best place to vacation, highest economic turnaround after COVID. Like, we're on a lot of those lists. And when you're on those lists, the people that have the money want to participate too. So again, it's just about coming out to Punk in the Park and participating. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, so you have this great business. I mean, you guys are a big player in EGAD now, but you've been in the music scene for a really long time. And how long has Gary Lazer Eyes been a band?
Man, 7 years technically.
Yeah.
Like the first year we were kind of, sometimes I think we were like playing under Austin Young. And we started out just doing events. I was living in Orlando, and that's where we all got together. I mean, the original 4 of us were all from Melbourne. Our current drummer, who's been our longest drummer, Chris, he's from Orlando. But we all met in Orlando doing DIY events and looking for, sometimes we'd have to rent a space out. We'd do house parties, and that's kind of where we birthed out of. And I'm lucky to be in the position I am with Pineapples, Now I can do that without having to hunt down a space. But yeah, that was what we were doing back then. And over like the first year of us, I guess, playing together and toying with the idea of like, we're Gary Lazer Eyes a band, then we really like started grinding and writing music together. And we've been based out of Melbourne for the most part. Our drummer still lives in Orlando, Chris Jones, since like end of 2018. So been back over here for a while. But before all that, I was putting acoustic CDs in Standard Collective in the mall. Yeah, dude.
Very cool.
Slanging CDs.
Austin Young with this little mixtape.
Yeah.
How long were you in the mall?
Unfortunately, for about 4.5, 5 years.
So Standard
I
Collective.
shouldn't say unfortunately. It needed to be there at the time, but
So Standard Collective has been a thing for over 10 years. Huh?
2010 is when we opened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it was shortly after that. I was like, this acoustic demo,
You please put it in.
sell it.
It was
Now,
cool.
where did the name Gary Lazer Eyes come from?
It's a mystery, man. No, I'm just kidding. I've answered the question before. At this point, I just want to be like, I don't know. But it's from Trailer Park Boys. Like I said, we were young, dude. We didn't have connections out there.
That's why I don't know. I've never seen
we
Trailer
were
Park
just
Boys.
yeah.
Neither have I.
Dude, we were just sitting at home most of the time, watching Trailer Park Boys,
So good.
not smoking anything illegal, and we thought it was hilarious. I look back on that one episode that we took it from. Now I'm like, how was this that influential on us naming our band? You know, but it is what it is, and we never changed it, so it's too late now.
It's a cool name, though. Where did these Uzis come from?
Mike De La Chapa came up with that. It's basically, kind of shooting from the hip.
An oxymoron, basically.
Yeah. It's, a love gun, if
Yeah.
you will. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ian Soden is an artist in the area, and he drew up something for Lost Satellite that we never used, and it was basically a giant heart on a hill that was bombing a city, but it was love bombs.
Yeah.
And that's all I think about every time I think of Easy Uzis is love bombs.
Same mission, man.
Yeah.
We're on the same mission.
Yeah. Very cool. So Gary Lazer Eyes has that show coming up in August. Do you guys have anything else coming up?
Yeah, we're putting together a run. I think we're gonna be playing FinFest in Jacksonville, so we're gonna connect those two dates. There's a few other shows we haven't announced yet, but around that time we plan on releasing our second volume of Love and Local Honey, which is kind of a 2-part album we've been working on. If not by then, at least a single or two.
Yeah.
It's a long process recording things, especially when you work with Anthony Feda,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love that dude. But I don't have like a release date yet, but we're planning to put some music out around that time, and we'll have a string of shows, and we'll announce that soon.
Very cool. Very cool. Any comments?
I'm just stoked for Saturday. I'm stoked for the opportunity to be a part of something like this, and I'm stoked for a potential Oddity shop to be in EGAD.
Let's make it
Tony's
happen.
right. We do need more shops, and
It's
it's
happening.
Yeah, I hope so. I keep seeing cool vendors at events like this, and I'm like, man, you should have a brick and mortar. I mean, that doesn't work for some people's businesses, but it would be awesome to see more of these vendors get a more permanent spot here in EGAD, and
For sure.
here's looking forward to that.
Excellent. Now, again, we have sponsors here, Sleeping Sirens, Pineapples, Standard Collective, 518, and we're in association with Space Coast Podcast. Some other sponsors to mention here would be Island Root Kava Bar is another EGAD spot that has music, a great food truck out front. Convicted Printing we brought up. Savvy Vinyl will be there on Saturday selling some records and helping out with our roller skate competition at the Goat Ramp. Art by Heather will be on hand. Dreamland, ResPro, Intracoastal, the Brevard Prevention Coalition, who we've had To Write Love on Our Arms on our podcast in the past. Brevard Prevention Coalition has a very similar mission where they're trying to help people that are struggling, really, maybe suicidal, but definitely dealing with substance abuse. When you come out to the event, we will have Kogo Buzz is providing internet for the event. So when you get there, if you log in to the Eau Gallie Arts District, the EGAD Wi-Fi, you'll also have access to the band lineup and anything else that we end up getting on there at that time. Iron Oak Post is a sponsor. The Cottage Irish Pub. Make sure you stop through there while you're in EGAD or when you come back. Against the Grain Tattoo. Mustard's Famous Hot Dogs is another EGAD local Highland Park sandwich shop. Eau Gallie Creamery. These are all spaces that you can check out while you're in the Eau Gallie Arts District. We're going to have a lot of skate raffles as well as different things that you can purchase from skate companies in the area. We're going to have some really good Food trucks, the Pucker Up Old School Lemonade. They do some vegan stuff. Moose Soft Serve is going to be on hand. Also doing hot dogs with their ice cream. Taste Buds by Chef Mo. B&B's Rollin' Smoked Barbecue. And then a giant list of vendors. And so Saturday is going to be a amazing time. And we live in Florida, and it is June, so bring an umbrella. Rain or shine. And again, Harbor City Local is a 501(c) nonprofit where we do put on events. We promote art, music, community, education, and then anything that we do goes to community and education initiatives. You can stop by the Harbor City Local tent and check out our music scholarship that we have with Wickham Road Music. If you or you know someone that cannot afford a musical lessons or maybe need an instrument, we can help you get that. We do have a scholarship for that. And if you want to start a partnership, or maybe you want to take a lesson somewhere else like the Groove Shack, hit us up and we'll try to help you out. But we hope to see everyone Saturday, Punk in the Park, Eau Gallie Arts District. I'll be posting some parking spaces soon. Do not bring your animals. They are not permitted in the event area. And no moshing, no stage diving. For Harbor City Local, Space Coast Podcast, Heather, Tony, Austin, thanks for being here.
Of course, appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
us.
We'll see you next time.
Mhm.